to the Planet Plipcam channel for episode 1 of Zomplip Studios. Now I can't wait to get into this series because it's going to make what is usually quite a lonely game into a collaborative and conversational feel. So I am collaborating with Mr. Zombieblood on Twitch, and obviously I'll be updating you with videos here on my channel. I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel here and following Brad over on Twitch, as he'll be streaming the progress and interacting with the chat with me. He's kindly invited me over there so I can update his viewers and we can just share opinions of the future of the park. So that'd be really appreciated if you could do both those things, and we're going to have a look at what I built in this park. But first I'd like to just tell you how these videos will play out. I'm going to give you the usual kind of cinematics and speed builds that I usually would in my videos, and I'm also going to bring over the conversations that I have with Brad, so you're just all around updated as a summary of what you're going to expect with the future episodes in this series. So the first thing that I've built in this park, about 4 weeks ago, I started building a car park, and this is definitely one of my most proudest builds in the actual game. And the first thing that I did was terrain the actual area. I don't want to make this episode too long of just me explaining every single thing, because this is 4 weeks of work, but at the moment you will see a time lapse because I don't think many people will know how to do this, so I do want to teach you. I've raised up some of the terrain and then flattened the surface, and then I've smoothed all of that to make a nice and smooth hill. And then I've just added a nice palette of foliage, which I'll definitely use in the future of the park, because that's kind of matches with the biome that I've chosen, as this kind of biome doesn't need many trees to blend in with the outsides of the park, and that will definitely bode well for piece count. Just touching on piece count a little bit more, I really tried to use terrain paint as much as I could. After all, it's much more flexible than the pathing, so I was glad to use that. It would have definitely bumped up that 13% of build limit already up even further, because paths really do take up a lot of counter. And here's me and Brad. I've just introduced Brad to the Planet Plipcam channel. Welcome along, and here's what we think about collaborating together and piece count in general.
I think that I really was considering piece count a lot. So you'll see that I've tried to use rectangles that would perfectly fit the shapes, like to fill in the gaps of these that I've hashed areas, because I was really conscious, like I don't want to take up part count, because obviously it will mean that the other creator won't be able to build. So it was certainly something to look at, and I think it will definitely help now we're collaborating. We'll kind of push each other on, and you'll always try your best to get it as best as you can. So I think that's certainly something that I'm looking forward to collaborating.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, actually. I think it's pretty kind of like, I know for a fact I get lazy with the game, if I'm honest. Like, I'm very kind of like, like when you're building a big project, you think, that'll do.
Yeah.
But obviously, like for me in these projects, there's no room for that'll do.
Exactly, yeah.
Cause obviously, I mean, I've got to try and match the quality of this car park for one. That's going to be a bit of a challenge in itself. But like I say, it's nice to actually kind of have that kind of cleansing of the creative palette. I think it'd probably be a way that I'd kind of use, and changing up the style that you're building kind of gives you a bit of a refresh and gives your brain a bit more chance to kind of think of other ideas for the other parks. So yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a good little venture.
I think that was definitely a feeling that I felt going into this build, and it was a real freshness because it's a real kind of different style of build. I've never done anything like this apart from Radiator Springs, the kind of art deco googie American. We will touch on later our plans for the park, but yeah, you can see I've built the travelator kind of building, where there is no travelator in here because that does really increase piece count, using the wheels from the wagons sometimes. But yeah, I've built that, and you'll see a time lapse now of how I've been building that. Nice Ghostbusters pieces, and also from the vintage pack there's some nice big art shapes which I've used. Very similar to Euro's. I'm not going to take credit for what completely isn't mine. Now this time lapse coming up here, it's me terraining all of the area and using lots of the different foliage. I wanted to be as realistic as I could, so I could blend in the terrain with the water feature that I've gone in this water treatment kind of centre. I've got all the pipes linking into the realism, and you've got access roads and the signage that you don't want to swim in there. And it was really important to get bushes behind rocks and in the shade, as I wanted to be as realistic as I could, and I really like how it adds some nature to what is a big concrete expanse of land. So here's Brad and I talking a bit more about this section of the park.
We were trying to choose kind of a colour palette, and it was quite early on in this build, but we did go for green and yellow. I know that's kind of what we have in the UK near reservoirs and stuff. with usually a really rubbish kid's drawing of danger of death or something. So yeah, it's all got kind of messy foliage, and then I think it's becoming much more popular using the bamboo upside down in the water. It looks like reeds, which I really like.
Yeah, it's an awesome little trick that is, actually, to be honest. I did think when I first jumped in the park, I was like, what piece is that? And then it clicked, I was like, oh no, he's actually just took the bamboo piece and just flipped it upside down. It's also added texture underneath the water too. So obviously from up here, it kind of stops it looking flat. And obviously you do naturally have kind of some foliage and stuff that grows underwater too. So it works wonders both above and below water, I think.
So with quite a few talking points touched on now, I would just like to mention how the cars come into the park. So I'm quite proud of the system that I've done. They come through a tunnel. I've used basic shapes so you can't see inside, as otherwise you'd see the tram kind of bus system that does make a mess down there as they all bang their heads, but it doesn't matter because you can't see them down there. It's just for some interaction and movement around the park with all the stationary cars, which don't look too amazing. And then you've got the ticket building, which is for your parking tickets, like a kind of toll booth. That was certainly inspired by Lunarwood, which is a park created by Beyond Drew, who does a lot of Planet Zoo content creation at the moment, and he is moving on to more different videos at the moment as well. But yeah, I definitely needed a taller kind of structure to let the buses in, which do have their own route, but certainly for maintenance down the line it might need to be taller. And it definitely needed the air conditioning kind of units, space for those. So it's all kind of an airy kind of enclosure for all of the people to sit in and work as they give the tickets to the people joining. The only other thing I really like to touch on would be the central plaza area. So I've used the round advanced move technique, and I've used the spooky, from the spooky pack there's a really nice wall set which are off the grid, and if you rotate them round they look just like TMTK kind of flooring. So I'm really happy with those. They're the cobblestone, the grey ones that I've used through the centre. And then again, advanced move with basic shapes to kind of make a DNA kind of helix. And here's Brad talking about what he likes about the park and the themes and what we kind of want for the future. And what kind of architectural themes are we going for?
No. I mean, I'm blown away, if I'm honest, buddy. All of the details you've put into this place is just... As soon as I had the park, I downloaded it. I was like, right, okay, I'm not going to be building anything today because it was showcase day. But I was like, I just need to have a look. I just need to get that fix. And I loaded in and I was like, damn. Like, I didn't know what to say because I was just...
Thanks.
It's incredible. But yeah, as I was saying, there was already kind of that conflict of styles already that's occurring, and to be honest, I love it. I like that this kind of entranceway kind of looks like it's probably been here a little while. The paint's a bit faded, it's looking a little tired.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But then I love the fact that it's kind of then, all of a sudden, this is all kind of modern, very fresh. It's looking very clean. And to be honest, I just love that kind of like juxtaposition of like the two different styles. It looks awesome, buddy.
I'm sure Brad can back me up here. We're really trying to go for a googie American art deco kind of style. Do you want to touch on what kind of theme we're kind of going for in architecture, Brad?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is googie down to like a T, if I'm honest. It's a bit of a funny word, but it's kind of big curves and sharp corners and very big swathes of concrete. So as you can see, this kind of grey, this dull grey is definitely kind of what you would see in almost kind of 1960s, very early 70s, but kind of mid to late 60s kind of a era of building, basically. So we're kind of going for like a Americana kind of, you know how Plip kind of built his kind of cars. I touched on it in his cars build, actually, and it was kind of that, almost kind of like the big Americana kind of concrete builds, and I think he's really kind of pulled it off perfectly in this, but it's still got a modern flair to it as well, so yeah, he's done a really good job. Looks really, really nice, actually, to be fair. The textures are really, really nice. I like how you've used a lot of different kind of materials already. So you've kind of got some of these like plain concrete that you've put in, and then obviously that kind of, like you say, that 3D kind of cobblestone look. Even though it's all the same colour palette in terms of greys and stuff, it just really adds so much more, doesn't it, than just keeping it all the same.
So that is about as much as I can say about my car park without waffling on about things I would like to say, but I don't want to bore you here today. I hope you have got a good feel of what I built. But what is Brad actually planning on doing in the next couple of weeks? You will have seen that he's already started planning and placing some pieces down already from those stream replays that I've inserted in here. I do hope that you like that kind of format, inserting conversational kind of snippets in. I certainly do, so please like the video or comment down below if you do enjoy that. But yeah, as I say, what is Brad thinking of doing? And he's going to explain it to us all now.
And do you want to just give me a little overview of what your plans are? I'd love to know.
Yeah, cool, not a problem. So you left a sign here that was on about that this could have been used for a monorail station, and I thought naturally this kind of big jarring corner would kind of fit perfect to squeeze a monorail in as well. So I've kind of just for now I've just put some pathing in just to get the guests to be able to come and use it. And I think this is going to be like a ride that we build bit by bit. So as the park expands, this will just be something that we kind of keep adding to. I kind of started mapping out a little bit of an entrance plaza and a little bit of an entrance building. So as you can see, I've kind of gone for the stucco, kind of almost sandstone-y looking plastered rendered walls with some of those kind of classic archway shapes that you do see in studios builds. But yeah, what I think my plans are to kind of get this entranceway kind of all put in. I'm not entirely sure about how I feel about the monorail passing through it, but that was just kind of the lane I've put in.
I'm quite keen on it.
At least
I'm quite keen on it. If you can make it nice and thin, I don't think you want this archway to be really, it's got lots of depth to it. I think if you can maybe bring it back one more arch shape backwards, to try and make it a bit thinner, I think it could work really nicely.
So really exciting times ahead for this park. I can't wait to see what Brad builds. I've already seen a little sneak peek and it's looking amazing. So yeah, go follow Brad on Twitch so you can definitely catch up on all the live progress that's happening in that park. Go jump in that chat. That is Mr. Zombie Blood on Twitch. I'll leave the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's taken me about 4 days to edit. I'm on new software. I'm really getting used to it. So I'd really appreciate a like on this video, and thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. It's really appreciated. What also would be appreciated if you are new to the channel, if you subscribe, that would be brilliant, thank you. And also turn that bell notification on so you don't miss any more of this series. I thank you again very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.